Welcome to the Car Sim and Race Driver Show, presented by Hugh Hatrick. Here at Bathurst in the Forest, my very special guest, Basic Ollie, Rascal, Rabbit, Josh Martin. It's great to have you back on the show. Drive fast and try not to crash.
Good evening and welcome to the Car Sim and Race Driver Show. And with us tonight is our first ever Olympic champion. It is Valerio Gallo. It's great to have you on the show. Welcome.
Good evening, guys. Hello, everyone.
Now, we have a chat that is bursting and ready to ask you lots and lots of questions about your recent incredible victory at the Olympic Esports Championship. But we always start with this question for all our guests. That how did your esports and kind of gaming, kind of racing career, how did it all begin?
Well, we have to do a big jump back in the past because actually it all began when I bought my first PS3 in 2012 with Gran Turismo 5. So yeah, also let's say I started since I was 3 years old to play Gran Turismo. So it was definitely a destiny that I kept playing this game because I really loved it and it really taught me a lot about the motorsport. And yeah, basically, when I was playing on Gran Turismo 5, I started racing competitively, and maybe not at an international level, but yeah, I was trying to improve and to also learn about racing because it was all new to me. And yeah, it all let's say it kept going until GT Sport came out, and then yeah, from there I started to, let's say, focus a little bit more. Even though I didn't start from 2017 to race the FIA, I started 1 year later in the 2018, and also I joined my first team, which was actually the Williams Junior, which is actually the academy team of the current Williams Esports. And and yeah, basically I started doing my first regional events, and then I switched to the worldwide events, so the FIA GT Championships, so the Nations Cup, the Manufacturers Series, the Toyota Cup, and now with the Olympics. So yeah, I basically joined every event that was there. And in 2019, basically when I started, I just, let's say my aim was just to be there, just to join. And I qualified for the 2019 Tokyo and Monte Carlo World Tour. And then in 2020 with the last World Tour, which was in Sydney. And these were like my ever free round I did. And from then I wasn't able, but mostly everyone wasn't able to join anymore because of the pandemic. And yeah, during those events, I didn't do so well, but for example, in 2020, I improved a lot. I really focused on myself because I knew that I had the skills and the possibility to even try to, let's say, fight for the top spots. And that happened because in 2020, my season was fantastic, becoming vice world champion in the Nations Cup of 2020. And then until now, with the biggest of the surprises, even becoming the first ever Olympic champion in GT Sport, already putting my signature on it, and yeah, it was pretty shocking for myself. And so basically, that's been like a climax since my beginning on Gran Turismo. So yeah.
Fantastic. Now, that's great. Now, one of the things, because obviously you've done so well over these last number of years, but what was the time when you realized you could be really competitive and potentially win at these kind of events?
Well, actually, in the first World Tour events, so against the fastest guys in the world and etc. Especially in those occasions, because for example, when you're home, you may do good results, but when you are there, you feel much more than just a race. It's all about your head. And yeah, so it was all new to me, but at the same time, I knew that if I got used to it, I would be able to even even try to fight for the top spots and against the other guys. But yeah, I saw, for example, myself comparing to many of the guys, like for example, Michael Isal, which is let's say my most favorite driver in GT Sport. And then, Igor Fraga, Takuma Miyazono, so people that obviously were in the Olympics, but also many other guys. Like my key was to study many of the drivers to, let's say, make my driving style more rich and get more experience for the next event. So, and that's what I brought through all the last races, all my experience, all my also lucidity, because it's also about the emotions, and I had to stay lucid, because otherwise the pressure will make me lose my mind, and I would not reach those results. And yeah, so I just got inspired by many drivers and also by the community that helped me a lot through these years. And that's why, for example, I dedicate this victory also to them, because they also helped me a lot motivationally, and also for the skills, also for all the races we've done. So
yeah, fantastic. No, that is brilliant. So what would you say, I mean, is your main characteristics as an esports racer? What would you say are like your strongest points in racing? Are you, do you have a particular competitive advantage that you think you have, or where do you think you're very strong at?
Maybe to get adapted to the situation very soon, because it's something that really shows the talent of a driver. It's other than the practice, pro drivers distinguish themselves from the ability to adapt very soon to the situation. For example, if we have a rainy race, who's the fastest driver to get adapted to that condition? Or for example, we have, for example, a race with the street cars, or with other cars, other type of tracks, and etc. So it's all about how the driver gets adapted to the situation, how quickly can react to the situation, and also to the race, conditions, and also the strategy. And yeah, in this case, maybe I can do that, because I really like to not practice so much, because I feel like it's counterproductive. Even though the first times I feel like that training is very useful for yourself to learn about, how to take a corner, how to brake, and etc. But after, you should see a competition very stressful, which makes you train harder. But at the same time, I feel like it's counterproductive, because you get much more anxious, because for example, if I privately can do a good time, or a good performance, but then on the actual race, on the official race, after I trained a lot, I don't show my real results. And that's why I like it to keep it, let's say, cool, to try be already maximizing my pace on the official race and not trying to maximize it too much and exaggerating on the trainings. So that's probably my how to say, my strong
Your
point.
Special skills. Yeah. That's fantastic. Now, we've got lots of people in the chat who've already been asking questions. Now, I'll quickly run through the first question that we have here from Richie Johnson. After watching the last race in the Olympic Games and Mikhail being someone to look up to, what was it like nerves in terms of, did you have nerves in the last few laps of the last race?
Yeah, like I said, I had to stay lucid for this race and not lose my mind. I knew that, for example, I had 3 world champions in lobby and also potential world champions. So I had to stay very focused and not distract myself from these things, because I knew I had the pace. I just had to express it on the track. But yeah, for example, Mikhail put me in a level of pressure I never felt, because it's the final race, it's the Olympics, and then you have probably the fastest guy in GT Sports, So I felt a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, I had to realize that I had just a few corners left to even try become an Olympic champion. So I had to all the work that I did from the pole position I got in the final race, also because the final race was the most important because of the double points. So anything could have changed. So, and in my case, it went very smooth, because from the qualifying, I made the pole position and etc. So I also managed to escape. And I had to use this situation as my advantage to defend from Mikhail. But then when also I saw Mikhail approaching me, I knew that he was gonna do that. So I wasn't so, let's say, anxious. But yeah, I mean, it's all about the last laps and anything could have happened. But I managed to still defend myself. For example, I had the hard tires against the soft tires of Mikhail. Surely Mikhail had softer tires, but maybe just in the last laps, he started to have a drop on the grip. So maybe that's why I was able to defend.
Yeah.
And also, I think Mikhail wanted to also have the external line to, exit better from the corner. But yeah, I defended. That's the only thing I could do, and just hope that my tires will still have some grip. And yeah, in the end, I made my race. I made my beautiful ending, and I also honored. Let's say I'm also honored to have shared this ending, this race with Mikhail, and because for me it's my top inspiration in GT Sport. It's always been my top inspiration. And yeah, now seeing myself, winning for once against him in the most important race is surely amazing. So.
Oh, it's fantastic! No, absolutely brilliant. It's and all our chat are, as well as me and the team, are all wishing you the best of congratulations on such an incredible victory. And it's quite. We've one of the questions in the chat is, can we see your trophy? Is the trophy available, or is it hidden away somewhere?
Actually, right now it's not available, but because I had to unpack it to let's say conserve it, and also because we are moving stuff in the house, so unfortunately I cannot show it.
That's all right, not to worry. We've seen pictures of you holding the trophy. I've got it as the thumbnail for this video, so we've seen it, so people can go to that. And we've also got the link for your YouTube channel in our comments below, in the description below. So for everyone who's new to the channel and who hasn't already subscribed to Valerio's channel, make sure you do. The link is in the description.
Thank you, if you do so.
Yes, because I know you're not far off 1,000, so hopefully we'll get you monetized by the end of the night. That would always be a nice little extra for you. But one of the questions as well we had from Adama Banana, which is a great name here. What car category do you feel that your skill is the strongest in?
I like this question. Actually, with the Group 3, I really feel best with them. But I also like to drive the Group 1 cars, the LMP cars, because for myself, and also as I've always been passionate to the Le Mans races and etc. So, for example, with the Group 1 cars, I really like them. They suit me a lot. Also, my driving style, and also maybe let's also put the street cars, because I also like, for example, to drive with less grip to feel better the behavior of a car, and that's what I always did to also grow myself in the driving style. And my usual daily routine was, for example, to take a car with comfort soft tires to experience the most extreme grip, but also, let's say, the most realistic grip, and taking it on the Nordschleife. And I think it's probably the most it's the best experience you can have to learn every little thing about a car. And so yeah, that's what I always did, and what I always like to do, even even in the free time. So yeah.
So it's quite nice, so you can take a good road car and basically drive it as fast as you can and
Yeah, exactly.
See what it's like. But yeah, to be fair, I've never been to Italy, but I've just seen the videos of how Italians drive, and I think it looks magnificent when they race around. In that you've got a great attitude for driving, and I'm a big Alfa Romeo and Fiat fan. I actually had a chance last week to drive an Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, the top of the range with the one with the Ferrari engine in it, and that was an amazing experience. So I thoroughly enjoyed that one. But I'll read out some more of the questions here. Now this is a good one here. Of all the World Tour drivers, who is the one driver that you do not want to see in your mirrors, and why?
Well, I think it already answers the question when you see, for example, the Olympics, because obviously Mikel Rizal is the first one. As I said, it's been my inspiration all the time, because you know how fast he is on a single lap, but also how fast and how consistent Mikel is, and also relaxed. As you can see, when he drives, he's really relaxed. He knows what he's doing. He's also it's also a calculator. He knows what to do, and yeah, for me, it was my biggest fear. But yeah, even though I had not to have fear of nobody, but yeah, surely Mikel Rizal. But then also, I will also put Baptiste Benoit, because it's one of those guys that has been so fast, but very fast at the level of Rizal. But at the same time, he got so unlucky many times. And I think watching, for example, on a perspective of the World Finals, of the next World Finals, I feel like he's surely a potential winner for the next ones. And then also we can also put Jose Serrano, Josete, which is a very young guy, but he's so talented. And surely, for being so young and fast, he can just keep growing, and so he's another guy to watch out.
Yeah, I was going to say we've got a young chap in the chat here called Jack Balding, who's in the chat, and he's only about 12 or 13, but he managed to get into the top 10 in the EMEA for, I think it was the Dragon Trail, or it was Sardinia track for the Group 4 races a few weeks ago. I think that was right. He'll correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But what kind of tips would you have for a young driver like that who's 13 and already getting into the top 10?
Well, to actually for being young driver and being fast, yeah, it's surely a good thing. But at the same time, you don't have to lose your mind after, for example, a race, because for how bad or good it can be, surely it destabilizes you sometimes. And the right mentality is to always keep doing your best and not lose your mind, to stay also always focused, and also to be smart, because in some cases, like, the immaturity leads you to be too much in a hurry. For example, if you're stuck in traffic and you have to overtake someone, maybe instead of overtaking already the guy in front, maybe it's better, for example, managing the tire or the fuel, depending by the situation. And so there are so many factors that surely penalize you, and maybe you should keep your head and do your race smart. So that's what I would say, for example, to young drivers that are surely fast, but they, due to the immaturity or the lack of experience, they just need to be patient, but also to play it smart.
Mm-hmm. Very good advice, I'm sure, that to keep calm, keep the emotions in check. Isn't it? That's it. And things so, and keep practicing. And we had a question earlier on. How much practice do you have to do every day to be able to be so competitive?
Well, actually, the first time I was practicing maybe 3-4 hours, but at the level I am now, I just need, for example, maximum 2 hours, or just 3 maybe. But I mean, I don't like to practice so much. I just like to practice as much as I feel like, because I don't like maybe to find the lost 10th or 1,000 of a tenth in the performance, because I feel like it's just exaggerating. And also in the official race, you need to be realistically show the times you do. So I like to practice around maybe an hour, or sometimes it's even required to practice less, because it depends by the the importance of the event, or also because in my case I got so used to it that I also remember what to do. So, but generally I would say 1 hour, 2 hours, and basically everything you need to do, from the quali performance to the race strategy, and then that's it. I would like to leave it like that, because if I start to, for example, practice more, as I said, it's counterproductive. I just get anxious, too much hyped up, and maybe in the race I do mistakes that I would not do in, for example, in the private test. And I would like to leave it like more fresh on the race. So
that's fantastic. Now we've got quite a good question here. It's from Glasgow Red, and he says it's not a real question, but he wonders if in your early racing days, if you ever rage quit a race or smashed a control pad after being punted.
I mean, who hasn't rage quitted in his whole life? But it's surely, when you take care of something, you have a passion, and surely you don't want to, let's say, do something negative about your passion. Surely sometimes you have those moments where, for example, in the last races where I throwed away my gloves, or sometimes it can happen to rage quit. Let's say recently I not rage quitting, but for example, I was a guy that really rage quit quite a lot, because in the past, because I also was more younger, so I always wanted to be perfect. So, but at the same time, after I grew up, I understood that to be perfect, I mean, we cannot be perfect, but we can just get close to it, and we just have to accept what we do, what our mistakes, our our defiances to, let's say, improve. Because I would just say, instead of rage quitting, it's better to know to realize your mistake and to just keep get note of that, to just improve and do better for the next ones. Because I mean, it's not that we have just on one occasion. We have so many occasions. Luckily, I will say. So yeah, just keep going. Don't let you don't let you down for these things, because it's all part of your progression. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic! Now we can see there that you've got a wonderful play seat that you're using, and then tell us a little bit more about the equipment that you use for your kind of daily sim racing.
So actually, for example, as a Williams esports driver, as you can see, after I got promoted to the Williams esports from the Williams Academy, so the gym, the Williams Junior, basically I got so much support from the team, because actually I was getting inside the real team. So yeah, as they also furnish me all the equipment about, for example, the play seat, or the TV, which is here.
Yeah.
And so all this stuff, which I always thank them about, because I don't say they made me faster, but they surely made me much more. They helped my confidence in racing, because surely when you drive, sometimes you feel too much uncomfortable, and sometimes it also can be distracting. I can feel the pain, because before having all this, I was just playing on an old 18-inch TV, which was very small. And it was actually the same situation as Mikael had. And I was playing on a pad, and actually, when I also made the switch from pad to the wheel, I was still using the wheel on my old desk, and with this old little TV, and also I was having the seat with the the desk chair with the wheels, and it was kind of uncomfortable, I would say. So, but it's normal when you start from zero. You get adapted to it. Everyone gets used to it. But surely it's after making the upgrades like this, and surely you get more comfortable and more focused on the driving, because you can feel the pain. I feel the pain still from the past, but also for all the other people that surely they don't have so much support, because maybe they don't have a team, or I don't know, or the money to even buy the stuff, because also it's a very expensive stuff. And yeah, so surely in the future it's worth to maybe do a little upgrade. It's not needed to do to buy big stuff. I don't think it's worth it. Just buy, for example, even the low end stuff, so the cheap stuff, because you just need to feel comfortable when driving, and that's what I always think.
Yeah. No, I think it's very true, isn't it? That if you get, I've had just a G29 and play seat challenge for nearly 4 years, and the difference it's made is huge, because you feel so much more when you've got a wheel in front of you and pedals, and it allows you to drive a little bit better, a bit smoother, and more of the experience as well of the gaming and the kind of atmosphere and everything that goes along with it. But how did you find, because when a lot of people switch from being on a pad to being on a proper steering wheel, it takes them a little while to get used to that. What was your experience of going from being very fast on the pad to then getting the wheel?
Well, actually, it was less traumatic than I thought it was going to be, because, for example, in 2018, when I started to compete in GT Sport, I was still on a pad, but then when I had to face my first regional events in Italy, I had to make the switch from pad to the wheel, because on the live events it was required to use the wheel. And yeah, I had, for example, 1 month from the day I qualified for the event to, for example, go to the live event, and I had to get used to the wheel in just 1 month. But I really got pretty fast at it. Maybe I wasn't so consistent, but surely it wasn't so much of a let's say of a bad situation. Maybe because also I think GT Sport is very helps you in this, because it's very accessible as a game. Like, you can also be competitive with a pad, and even though the pad is different from the wheel, but surely you can basically get used to it very quickly. But yeah, I mean, I just spent some months, and I got already to the top of the leaderboard. So talking about, for example, the FIA Championship in 2019, when I had, for example, my first wheel, which was the G29, I was already pretty amazed of what I was doing, even though, for example, I wasn't so fast as I'm now, but it surely was a mix of, self improvement, but also not about the skills, but also about the wheel. But at the same time, I felt already fast, because I thought maybe it was going to be to take longer than I thought. But then, the difference. I mean, it wasn't so shocking to pass from a pad to the wheel, because surely it's the game. Because I feel like that if you go, for example, in other simulators that they are more optimized for the wheel, surely you can feel even 10 times more the difference when you pass from a pad to the wheel. So surely I think it's also about the game that helps you.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Now, this is a good question from Flash Dagger. He says, is it true that you use chase cam? And if so, what do you feel is the advantage?
Okay, yeah, I used the chase cam. Basically, I was before playing GT Sport, I was using the hood cam, because I needed, for example, to learn more about the racing lines on the track. But yeah, then I wanted to make the switch to the chase cam, because actually many people ask me about it, how in the world I was able to use that cam. But basically, I feel like that I don't say that, for example, there's a camera that makes you faster, but it's just personal preference. But at the same time, I feel like it's more, you have much better vision of what's happening around you. So, for example, if we are in a battle, so against some other people, and you have to defend, or also, let's say, to be fair with them, so let's say not to push them wide or etc. So yeah, I prefer to use that cam to see better the circumstances, and surely helps me to see better. But also, I think for the also for the car behavior, because I can see better how the car is responding to me when I drive it. But yeah, it's just personal preference, because I feel like that, for example, I mean, objectively, it gives you a better vision, but at the same time, maybe there's people that doesn't want to see the car, because they want to see, for example, better the road. Because, for example, the chase cam doesn't let you see so much the road, or, for example, where you are putting the tires, or I don't know, other stuff. But yeah, there's people in people. So people that wants to see, for example, their circumstances or the car, like me, or people that wants just to see the road. So they will use, for example, the bumper cam or the hood cam, and they don't focus, for example, so much on the circumstances. But in my case, that I already learned about how to make corners and also the driving lines, I made the switch to this cam just for the to have a clear vision and a better vision about the surroundings.
Fantastic. Now that's super. And a question for you as well from Richie. Your PSN is Bracer, or BRACER.
So
where did that come from?
Okay. Basically, yeah. It's actually a name that I had to. I wanted to shorten it because actually it was Best Racer 2000, my original name, and actually, for how much historical has been to me this name, but I really regret it because obviously when I chose it the first time, I was so young, and my only target was to become fast. And then the first name that I had, and it was the first name that maybe everyone has in their mind, and yeah, I put it. And maybe the first times people, when they were watching the name, they were saying, "Who's this guy? He's just a tryhard, and he's nobody." And then from then I wanted to shorten the name, but at the same time to keep the racer, because I'm still a racer. I'm still a racer, but the B is symbolic to me, even though I wasn't the best racer. And so yeah, it's been such a historical name. Everyone knows me like that, and I just wanted to keep it, even though sometimes I regret about it. Maybe now, it could have more sense to use the old name, the Best Racer. But I'm not the best racer, but I'm one of the best racer for sure, because now I'm realizing to be very fast, and to also fight against the fastest guys in the world, and also world champions.
And you've beaten them. You've beaten them. So
yeah. I'm trying to. So it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
I'm happy of that, but I have to still keep pushing, because it's not over, and there will be other races in the future. So I will still race and be myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, one of the questions we had earlier was, do you have any insight into the latest Gran Turismo 7 that's hopefully coming out later on?
Actually, no, guys. We don't know nothing. Even though we maybe, for example, in the circle of the GT stuff, etc. But yeah, basically they just close the door to anybody, because they obviously are working on it, and yeah, they don't want to obviously give any leak of the new game. We don't even know when it's gonna release, so we are just like you guys. We don't know nothing, and we just need to wait.
Maybe you'll get your picture on the next one that comes out, because you'll be, as you're part of the history now. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be it. They'll be saying you can develop your career and become just like Valerio. With something like, you never know. That's what they do with the F1 games, don't they? They put all the big racers, all the champions there on the front. But no, that's fantastic. Now, one of the things, because you've been all over the world before COVID, you went to the World Championship events, you were saying, in Tokyo and in Sydney and in Monte Carlo. And a big question that we get is, it must be an incredible event. What is it like to turn up at one of these Gran Turismo finals?
Wow, we are coming into the most beautiful part of the interview, because now, for myself, that I was just, unexperienced in going abroad, because Tokyo has been actually my first ever flight. I'm not joking.
Wow.
And I sacrificed myself to go there because, I wanted to take part in the finals. But at the same time, when I realized I was qualified to Tokyo, or, Tokyo above all the other places I've been, it still is my dream city. and I was like, no, I'm not gonna ever visit it. But in the end, it happened, and so the first time I arrived there, I was like confused because I felt like my body wasn't there, wasn't responding because like it felt like a dream. It all instantly, all of a sudden, I managed to change something about me because I was joining the finals, but I was also meeting new people, and I was going into new places that I never felt to go to. And for example, as you said, for example, the feeling was surely incredible because for myself, I was able to socialize with many people about from the drivers and so to the staff. But like for me, it's like something special because GT is not like just a game where you have from one side the drivers and from one side the staff. It's like a big family for me, and we had so much fun time. We really enjoyed the apart the competition. We had so many good things. I have so many great memories that I still have now, and I would like to relive again those moments because it's been like 1 year and a half that we don't join the world tours. And basically I visited Tokyo, then I visited Monte Carlo, and the world finals were surely another good moment because obviously you had all the people for the world finals, so it was even bigger, the family. And also let's say how it was organized, it was surely involving you so much in the event. And because for example Monte Carlo is full of cars, they took us for example for a ride in the streets. So it's also about that. It's not all about the competition. It's also about living the best life you can live, because in that moment, in those short moments, in those short days, I felt a lot of things inside of myself too. Also, as a talking personally, I wasn't also a very how to say. I wasn't so talky, for example. I was pretty shy. And surely this experience also helped me a lot in my character to open myself to new people and also to new experiences, because I wasn't used to, because of the money, etc. I wasn't able to take part in so many occasions and go to all those places. And also, if we think about that, I also went to Sydney in the end, in Australia, after like 20 hours of flight. I went from one side of the world to another, and that's surely insane. So yeah, it's a feeling like no other, because it's those short moments you have, and that surely I still thank GT about, because I mean, we all had a good time. We always remember the good moments. So that surely means that the events are not just events, but they are like a moment for all of us to unite, because obviously we are not in the same place, but from all around the world. So yeah, I just still thank them for the opportunities, and I still hope that we can have them again soon. So
hopefully it will start to open up. I'm sure it must be coming soon, as in some countries it's better than others in terms of restrictions and things. That would be fantastic. And just bearing in mind, I know we've been going for 44 minutes, so I don't want to keep you too much longer. You've been very, very generous with your time already. But a quick question here: is this now your full-time job? Are you pretty much full-time sim racer, or do you have something else that you do as well?
Well, actually, let's say I would like to call it a full-time job, but at the same time, it's still not, because it's all in evolution. It's still the esports. I mean, is still growing. I mean, we're getting close to for example, have that equality to the real life sports, but it's surely still keep growing. I mean, we're going in the right direction because the esports are very much followed, and also our sport in this case with the Olympics, it's just a big benefit for our sports, because also our, let's say, our discipline is not so, is starting to be like a very sectorial discipline. So also for us, it's a good news, and it was even a double surprise that, for example, we joined the Olympics, because it was a double surprise, not only for the game but also for the motorsport. And then for example, when you say okay, it's a full-time job, I hope so, but at the same time, for example, I still to if I had to rely on the money, for example, I have to still do something for myself. I mean, I have some support from the team, but surely it's still not so it's not a fixed thing. It has to be more there has to be more it needs to get more popular. And because I know that, for example, in other games there are many kids that, for example, win so many prizes. And for example, the difference from then to GT is that we don't have prizes. We just have to rely on ourselves. But if you have, for example, just a team that maybe can support you, that's it. And but I mean, for how it is, I mean, I didn't always rely on the money. I just wanted to have fun, and also my real goal was to improve myself and be one of the fastest. And then what happens next is just I mean, it happens, and it's gonna happen. And I just hope that our sport gets more recognition in this case, because it's a sport that surely it's not so much followed like other sports, for example, the football, or I don't know, but it's starting to be to get popular, and I hope so, because I mean, as I'm passionate to the motorsport, I would like to see motorsport grow. So
I think sim racing has done an awful lot for people who watch motorsport, because I know for myself, who it's quite expensive to go to Grand Prix and to big events like that. But when you've got sim racing, it kind of inspires you, because you're kind of getting a bit of practice, and you're kind of getting more involved, and then you're kind of more motivated to say, right, I want to go and see the thing for real. I want to go to these events.
And I wanted also to add a thing, because, for example, about this, like when the COVID started, I think also sim racing is so its best moment, because also if you saw that many drivers like Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz or many other guys that transferred the real life skills into the sim racing, and that also when you see those guys there, it's also great to see. And also they helped us to but also the situation, it's mostly about the situation that helped us to focus more on the esports, but also on the sim racing, because maybe I feel like that the sim racing surely it's more has that more of productive time. You can be more productive while playing in comparison to another sport. So I feel like also sim racing it's also productive, and you can spend time, and surely during the COVID period and the beginning of the COVID, surely many people wanted to, let's say, get into it, because it was one of the few ways to spend your time. So yeah, I just hope that this recognition can still keep going, and just like, for example, it happened with the Olympics as well. And so yeah, I just hope that it keeps going. So
fantastic. Now we have a question from another YouTuber, an American YouTuber called WRL Podium, and he does the kind of racing that I think you would actually quite like. He does what I think they call Battle of the Beetles. So he does the Group 3 Beetles, and they race on different tracks. And he also does the old original Beetle from the 1960s, but they put nice liveries on them and they do them up and they race on all sorts of different tracks. And he said, would you join him one day? And you could start from the back, just so they could say that they've raced against an Olympic champion.
Well, yeah. Yeah, why not?
He'll be very pleased that you've acknowledged him there, but because that was the thing, because it is obviously you love your road cars, and I thought, that's quite an interesting one. He likes his road cars too, and there's nothing slower than an old Beetle. But once they've done them up, they're quite quick, to be fair. But now here's the thing: a question from Richie: did you actually get an Olympic medal as well as the trophy?
Well, that's gonna be funny, because actually I didn't get any medal. For myself, I expected it, because obviously the medal is is symbolic, is the real symbol of the Olympic. But actually, I just got the trophy. I mean, I don't blame about it, but I mean, surely I would love to wear the Olympic medal with myself, because it's surely much more, for me it has much more sense, because all the Olympic sports deserve the medal. And so also I think in this case, for the virtual Olympic series, I felt like I felt it strange that they weren't giving us any medal and just a trophy. I was loved maybe more the medal, but I mean, it's just the first year. I just hope that maybe in the next years something is gonna be more, that also these sports are gonna be confirmed again, and we can also have the same, the same importance as also the other sports. So
yeah, it's fantastic. And I mean, I think to see these things happen, to see it all go on YouTube, and to see the fact you've won this incredible Olympic event, I can only see it getting bigger and bigger in the future. And you'll be able to stand there on the podium in front, maybe, and obviously they put it on TV and different things. That would be something, because I think sim racing deserves a lot more coverage, because it's a very good sport, and you guys that train and give it your everything is fantastic to watch. And to see how it's done. And one of the questions I was going to have, now that you've done all this racing, I know before the show started, we said you were saying you'd love to have a shot in real racing and hopefully transfer those skills that you have into that. What would be your ideal category and race or if you could get into a racing car or a track day, what would you like to drive?
So I have many categories, because, for example, mainly I would like to drive it's the Super GT cars, but like the old ones, so the JGTC cars, because I'm so fashioned by them. And also the LMP cars, because as I said before, it's my one of my most favorite categories in motorsport. But for example, I would also like to drift, because I'm also a drift fan. And for example, I know the Formula Drift events or the D1 GP in Japan, and so yeah, I would also like to drive those cars and have fun with them.
Yeah. And what would be your ideal dream car? If you could have any car you wanted, what would it be?
Well, it's obviously the Honda NSX. Because
Yeah.
Honda, obviously, as I think many people know, it's my most favorite brand. Historically, he's always been such an elegant but sporty car, and it still is to me. And yeah, so what can I say? VTEC power.
Did you ever see that video of Ayrton Senna in the original Honda
Yeah, with the
NSX
shoes, with
and the
the
white
both
socks?
shoes. Yeah,
The white
exactly.
socks and the slip-on shoes.
And
And
the
he's,
sunglasses, and the
yeah,
sunglasses
and he was
driving at
just,
Suzuka. Yeah,
that's the most incredible
yeah,
video. And really, I mean, you think that was over 30 years ago, and
yeah.
yet the tech was amazing, and there was the most incredible driver. In F1, do you have particular any drivers that you kind of that were inspirational to you, or that you kind of followed or liked?
Well, let's say, well, I grown with Michael Schumacher because obviously I'm a Ferrari fan, but also because he's been one of the greatest drivers ever.
Yeah,
But I'm also, even though he's been like the main rival of Michael Schumacher, but I'm also inspired by Fernando Alonso.
yeah.
I mean, the talent of that guy is just insane because we can also see how vast his talent is when, for example, after being in the F1, he also went to try even more sports, like for example the IndyCar. Then he
Yeah.
went to the WSC to also win the Le Mans, the first ever Le Mans, 24
Yeah.
hours with the Toyota. And then also he also did Dakar, if I remember correctly. So we can just see how much his skills are huge, because also is able to transfer his knowledge and his skills even into other categories. But like you can see also how, for example, in the F1, how he drives is always like his overtakes are always fearless. He doesn't have fear of nobody. He's very courageous, and he's also smart, very smart. And that's surely something that I really, recognize to him, because I'm also, as for being Michael Schumacher's fan, but
Yeah.
also his rival is surely another great idol of mine. And
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I love the way Alonso overtakes, because he goes so close to the car in front. He's inches off it, and that's what I try and do when I drive my Dacia Sandero. I go as close as I can to the car in front and overtake. It's the only way you can do it in a Dacia. But so there you have it. Now I've got a question here. One last question from Aces Bois, who's been asking this on many occasions, but I've been trying to fit it in when I can. And it says, "Hello, Valerio. I hope you're well. What was your reaction when you got into the Olympic Esports Championship?"
Okay, yeah. As I said, for example, it's for being the first year of the Olympics. It was surely a great thing, but it was a double. It was a double surprise, because to see the motorsport get into the Olympics, which was kind of unusual, because motorsport has never been to the Olympics before. And also our game, because surely it's a sign that our game is getting more is getting more popular and also loved. Is having the possibility to also join the Olympics, and it's insane how much further the game went in the time. And yeah, so for me, when I first heard the news, I wasn't believing in it, because I thought maybe it was just a fake. But yeah, actually GT was entering the Olympics,
Yeah.
And it was about to get serious from there because yeah, when I heard the news, I was also wanted to, as the nature of the Olympics, that we have an opportunity to race for it just only once every 4 years.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, I just wanted to give it all and give it even more than I usually I'm doing, because it was really like for example a train that you had to pick up on the fly. So and I
Yeah.
did. So yeah.
I was going to say, you don't want to put that email that comes from Gran Turismo Sports saying you're into the Olympics into your spam folder. You want to make sure that you that you definitely need that one. You know, that's the one.
No.
It's definitely not junk, that one, when you find out you've got into the championship. But no, that's fantastic. And we've got a funny question for our last one from PR1 Benson. He says, "How are you so fast when you're constantly holding a camera in your hand?"
By the way, hi Benson, what's up, mate? Yeah, actually, I don't have any other tools because, like, if I didn't have, for example, a sim racing seat, because I was actually, as I said before, using a desk with a desk chair with the wheels and old TV. I mean, yeah, I just improved from the worst to be faster. So I got adapted to the worst situations to be already prepared to the difficult conditions. So
Fantastic. Well, no, that's absolutely super. And one last little question as we come in. How has your family reacted now that you're in the news and you've become the star attraction? What's it been like to suddenly become so famous?
well, actually, for me, it's been such a I've been so happy that they were happy, because actually, I mean, before of everything, they weren't so like they weren't for the esports. I mean, they weren't for the competitions and the fact that I had to spend some time in it, because I had also other stuff to do, like the school and other things.
Yeah.
So they weren't believing in it as much as they do now, because now they also say that after all my hard work, something is coming in, and it's also something big. So I'm also happy to make them happy about myself and what I'm doing, because it's also the change of an era, because we just we are passing from just playing a game to also living our best life thanks to the game, because for example, taking parts to the world tours around the world is surely already something really incredible to think about, to be also able to live. So
Wow.
that's it.
Oh, it's fantastic. And our final question comes from Richie Johnson. What's next for you and Williams Esports in 2022?
Well, I will just keep being myself, because I mean, my goal, other than maybe also becoming a champion, but let's say I was just wanted to improve. Wanted just to be fast on the game, and that's it. And for the next ones, we still have to qualify, for example, for the World Finals this year. And also for 2022, I hope that, for example, considering also the likely release of GT7, I hope that we can also restart, all the events, and I think also the live events. And I just wanna, try to be there again, and also to visit again new places, and for the game, thanks to the game I always loved, and I've grown with. So So yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, that's great. Now, we're actually doing a GT Sport championship ourselves. It's actually called the Hugh Hatrick Touring Car Community Championship, and it's starting at the end of July. And I just wondered if you'd be so kind as to do a little quip for us and to say, if you would like to be an Olympic champion like me, you need to sign up for the Hugh Hatrick Touring Car Championship.
Well, okay, maybe I can say, if we want to win the championship, just eat spaghetti, guys.
That will do.
Grazie, ragazzi.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, look, thank you very much for your time tonight. We really appreciate you putting it aside to come on the show. It's been an absolute honour to have you on the show, and we wish you all the best for the rest of this year, for all your outgoing races, and for the next years as they come along. And I'm sure we'll hear many more great wins and great victories. You sound like you're dedicated and really going to do fantastic things as you continue on from being an Olympic champion in esports for Gran Turismo and more. And hopefully we'll get to see you in real life, in a real life event sometime in the near future when we get to see these big events as they take place. But I'm sure... Sorry.
No, I wanted to say thank you also, because obviously right now I'm living the best moment talking about Gran Turismo. And yeah, I also want to thank all the community, because like I said, they helped me a lot. So all of you guys, to which I dedicate the victory. And also, yeah, thanks all of you guys for following me. And also from asking me the question, and also you wait, how's the pronunciation of your name?
It's Hugh Hatrick.
Hugh.
Yeah,
Hugh Hatrick. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, Hugh, for having me tonight. And yeah,
you're very welcome.
You're
very welcome. Yes, thank you very much. Stay on the line just now as we close the show. But to everyone who's been watching and who'll be listening to this on the podcast, you've been watching the Car Sim and Race Driver Show with our first ever Olympic champion, Valerio Gallo. Drive fast and try not to crash. Bye just now.
See you.